Hello and welcome to Hedgewitch Hearthcraft. I'm Caitlin Rhiannon. Thank you so much for joining me for this look at the week ahead. I'm going to be using tarot cards and oracle cards to get an idea of the energy for the week of June 28th to July 4th, 2020, and also how to navigate within or throughout that energy. So I'm going to be pulling 2 cards for every sun sign of the zodiac. The first will be from the Arthurian Tarot, and that's what will give us what we're dealing with for the week. And the second will be from the Psychic Tarot Oracle, and that's what'll give us the advice on how to deal with the week. So you can follow along with the whole video, or you can jump ahead to the predictions for your sun sign. If you do, I'm also going to be pulling a card at the very end for everybody that's sort of a universal manifestation card. So if you do choose to skip ahead to your predictions, make sure that you also skip ahead to the very end, so that you can get some of that extra goodness in your life for the week. So, since it is Cancer season, let's go ahead and get started with our lovely Cancers. Cancer, your tarot card for the week of June 28th to July 4th, 2020 is Sword King. So this is a card that's mostly about mental authority and balance and driven mental force. Driven, directed, and focused mental force. So this isn't just having a sharp mind and being all over the place with it. This isn't your mind being in control of you. It is you being fully aware of your thoughts and especially aware of how you respond to your thoughts. So your behavior in regards to what's going on in your head, what you're thinking versus what you're feeling versus how you're acting, what you're saying to other people. There's a lot of heightened awareness and a sense of holding yourself accountable for the things that might have come out of your mouth when you were in a position of stress or unhappiness or anger or frustration. Now, the oracle card that comes along with this week for you, Cancer, is the 9 of Emotion. So the tagline for this one is fulfillment of wishes, which is, really, how much more positive can you get than that? As far as advice goes with this card, it's telling you to make sure that you're giving yourself time to do what you want to do this week. The Sword King is really a very responsible card as far as other people are concerned. You want to be clear-minded, so that you can be the best person that you can be for the other people in your life, the ones that really matter to you, the ones that you want to take care of right now. But this fulfillment of wishes card, this 9 of Emotions card, it comes up to tell you that make sure that you're taking care of you too. You will be more clear-minded, you will be better at fulfilling everybody else's wishes if your own needs are met. So make sure that you're taking this time to go out and do the things that make you happy, and reach for the things that are making you feel whole or fulfilled in that way. Leo, your tarot card for the week of June 28th to July 4th, 2020 is Spear 2. So there's a lot of energy this week, a lot of feeling the heat, feeling passionate, feeling driven, feeling like there's so much potential, but not a lot of actual movement. Now, that's primarily caused by a feeling of being torn in multiple directions, probably being like at a crossroads, and you could go one way or you could go the other. You could make this choice, you could make that choice, you could do this, you could do that, and you probably can't do both. So waiting isn't necessarily a bad thing. You're given the chance to weigh your options, make a measured and careful planned decision before just rushing in any sort of direction. But you do also run the risk of not making any decision at all and just sitting around and waiting until one path is closed or both are closed and the decision is made for you. So the oracle card that comes along this week is the 4 of the Physical, and the tagline or key phrase that comes along with this is firm foundation. So the advice for you this week, Leo, is to stay grounded. Easier said than done, especially when you have all of this passion and you're already feeling kind of stuck. But that's not the same as staying grounded. Now that's connecting yourself with your surroundings, with your space, your environment, connecting yourself with the earth so that you can draw some of that energy, and that will help you to make your decision, maybe not in the immediate, but it'll help you to understand what you need to do or what you want to do in order to build on top of the foundation that you are already laying. Virgo, your tarot card for the week of June 28th to July 4th, 2020, is Grail Maiden. So there's some deeper or more intense emotional understanding for you this week, though not necessarily emotional connection. You're a lot more aware of your feelings, and you're seeing your emotional self a lot more clearly, reflecting on old feelings and seeing the situation a little bit more objectively, kind of seeing things for how they were and not necessarily how you were perceiving them at the time. But even though there is this awareness and an acceptance of your feelings, your emotional self, you're still not quite ready to integrate that part of you into yourself fully right now. You're not ready to fully connect and fill yourself up with those feelings. Now, the oracle card that comes along with this is the Three of Emotion. So the phrase that comes along is rejoice in celebration. So this is another very emotionally driven card. And this is the advice that comes along with this week. So while you are facing your feelings and getting to know your emotional self, you're reminded to try not to let it get too heavy all the time. Take a moment to have fun, to do the things that feel lighter than what you are dealing with at this time, and especially to validate the positive emotions while you are also paying attention to the heavier, more intense, more important or severe emotions that need or have needed addressing. Don't forget to have fun and do pay attention to the good. Don't just toss out the good feelings to focus solely on these heavy ones in order to deal with them, because these good feelings, they deserve that validation as well. Libra, your tarot card for the week of June 28th to July 4th, 2020, is the White Heart reversed. So this reversal takes feelings of trust and unconditional faith and love in the people in your life and feeling supported, and throws them all out of whack. So it doesn't mean that the trust is totally gone or feelings necessarily of betrayal happening this week, but there might be some trust issues that come up, especially that make you feel disconnected from the people in your life that really matter to you. You don't necessarily feel alone or isolated or unsupported, but you might not be getting your emotional needs met in the way that you need them met right now. Now, the oracle card that comes along with this for this week is Power. And this is one of the majors in this deck. This is the 8th major, and it is suggesting or advising you throughout this week to try and connect with your, not quite your shadow self, but the parts of yourself that you are a little bit afraid of, that feel a little aggressive or animalistic, that you don't necessarily feel comfortable with because you don't necessarily feel like you can always control these parts of yourself. Try and get to know that part of yourself, and that learning to trust that part of yourself and how it interacts with you and how it can work through you will help you to open up your feelings of trust and comfort and vulnerability with the people in your life who you might be feeling a little more disconnected from this week. Scorpio, your tarot card for the week of June 28th to July 4th, 2020, is Sword 9 reversed. So this week there is probably going to be a fair amount of stress or anxiety or panic. But instead of running from your fears this week, Scorpio, you are deciding most likely to just face them head on, deal with them, get them out of the way. You've been running from them long enough. So why bother running anymore when you can run forward and get through them? You're very much just facing it all dead on, just trying to deal with it, get it done. Now, the oracle card that comes along with this week is the 5 of the physical, and the phrase on the card is financial and material changes. So the advice that comes along with this week for you, Scorpio, is to stay fluid, to stay adaptable, especially in your material life. So that references not just work and money, but your home and the stuff that you keep in your home. So maybe this is a really good time for you to be purging physical belongings, stuff that you've been holding on to for a while that has some sort of emotional attachment that's actually keeping you stuck in your past. But regardless, this is about staying fluid, staying adaptable, and being willing to accept changes as they come, rather than trying to stay too rigid or stuck in one particular place or one sort of idea. Sagittarius, your tarot card for the week of June 28th to July 4th, 2020, is the Spiral Tower reversed. So, probably not a lot of movement this week for you, Sagittarius. The boundaries that you have set or that you had set some time back have likely started to firm up into walls that are a little bit more rigid than you might have expected at first. Expectations that you have set for yourself, structures or habits or systems that you've set up in your life have become so structured that they've gone from structure to rigidity, and they are probably keeping you a little bit stuck or not taking you where you want to go right now. Now, the oracle card that comes along with this is the 6 of energy, and the phrase that comes with it is victory and success. So you're being advised essentially to toot your own horn. Be proud, even though it doesn't feel like you are making a lot of progress or moving in the direction that you feel like you should be moving in, or that you should be at right now. These things that you've set in motion, they're working, but they're not working the way that you want them to. And despite all of this, you're being told to celebrate, to praise yourself for your victories and for the achievements in your life that you have already made. So you're basically being advised that before you're able to take steps to rush forward into the next stage or to start manifesting what you've put into motion, you need to validate and give yourself credit for the work that you've already done, for what you've already done to put yourself where you are now. Even though these structures and systems don't necessarily feel like they're paying off in the immediate, you have done a lot of work to put them in place and to get them moving, to get things starting to roll. So before you're able to turn your attention to where that's rolling to, maybe you need to actually pay attention to the work that you've already done. Capricorn, your tarot card for the week of June 28th to July 4th, 2020, is Grail King reversed. So there are probably some overwhelming emotions that you would rather not deal with this week. This reversal can create a lot of emotional irresponsibility and kind of like an emotional immaturity, you're most likely going to be doing everything in your power to avoid feeling your feelings this week. So that'll usually translate to one of two things, to being really impulsive in order to distract yourself from what you might be feeling, or to be just completely flat and do absolutely nothing at all and stay just disconnected in order to keep yourself almost numb so that you're not feeling anything. Now, the oracle card that comes along to advise this week is the Four of Thought. And the phrase on the card is rest and rejuvenate. So what you're being advised to do while you're dealing with all these feelings is to take a step back and just try and relax. Close your eyes, ground yourself, sit down and breathe. When the feelings are too much to deal with, now is the time to not disconnect yourself from your feelings, but distance yourself from them a little bit. Observe them if you can. Just take a step back. You've got a lot of healing to do this week, Capricorn. It's not necessarily going to be easy, but staying numb to your feelings or acting just all over the place in order to not feel your feelings or not pay attention to them, that's going to exacerbate the pain and the damage that's underneath all of this. So try to just take a step back. Try to relax this week as much as you possibly can and give yourself a break from all of the emotional waves that are coming and going all week. Just try and take a few deep breaths every day to ground yourself and remind yourself that you're only human. Aquarius, your tarot card for the week of June 28th to July 4th, 2020 is Grail 7. So this week you are getting so close to your goals, you can almost reach them. You can see them starting to manifest. You can see yourself approaching this new phase of your life. And there might be a little apprehension as you get a little bit closer, because now is the time when you start to recognize what matters to you and what maybe doesn't matter as much as when you started on this journey. So right now and over the course of this week, you're basically being tasked with deciding what you want to do. If this goal that is starting to manifest, starting to develop, so close you can almost taste it, if this still matters, cross that threshold. If you aren't 100% sure, you might want to wait on that, because once you do cross this threshold, once you do take that step to finally claim what you've been working towards, taking a step back or undoing anything is going to be a lot harder than it will be now before you take that final step. The oracle card that comes along with this week, Aquarius, is the Nine of Emotion. And the phrase on the card is fulfillment of wishes. So this really drives home that sense of prioritizing what matters to you. You are so close to getting what you want, and you really deserve to validate that you've done the work. You deserve this. You are getting what you want. So you want to make sure that this is actually what you want now and what you will want in the future, not just what you might have wanted in the past. Don't hold yourself tied to some goal that is no longer relevant to who you are or who you are becoming. This fulfillment of wishes energy is like, take it. If this is what you want, if this is what sings to your soul, even if it isn't presenting itself to you in the way that you had at first expected, take it. You deserve this. Pisces, your tarot card for the week of June 28th to July 4th, 2020, is the Flowering of Logos. So in a lot of ways, over the course of the next week, it's going to feel like things are just sort of falling into place. A lot of things are coming together. It feels like you have the tools at your disposal to get done what you need to get done. all of the, or a lot of the clues and the little bits and pieces that you have been gathering over the last little while are all starting to fit together and make sense. The puzzle pieces are clicking together, so you're able to see the whole picture for what it is. You might be able a little bit more this week to take your feelings out of the matter, to take yourself out of the situation so that you can see things as they really are and so that you can see what needs to get done. Now, the oracle card that comes along this week, Pisces, is the Eight of Thought. And the phrase that comes along with this card is trapped in fear. Because it can't be all good, right? So while all of these things are starting to come together, you might be faced with a bit more anxiety than you had originally anticipated. You're seeing things clearly. That's not always comfortable. So you're probably going to be faced with some of your fears while you are being presented with the gifts and the good things in your life. And you might be faced with the fear of losing these good things. So it's up to you this week, Pisces, to do the work to not stay trapped in fear. You've got all of these things coming to you in the flowering of Logos. You've got this feeling of almost of completion, of things starting to come to fruition. And if you allow yourself to stay trapped in fear, you're not fully able to experience what life is trying to offer you right now. So face your fears, but don't let them limit you this week. Try to work with or through them rather than letting them just work you to the bone. Aries, your tarot card for the week of June 28th to July 4th, 2020 is Stone 10. So this is a really good card materially and financially. There is probably going to be some sort of increase in financial movement or financial flow, like good things coming to you. There could be more movement at work or an improvement at work. A lot of this is going to end up impacting your environment or your physical self. So not just your wallet and your money, your dollars, but your home, the way that you live right now, your feelings of comfort. So that can mean like you're redecorating, you are clearing out the old to make room for all of this new that's coming into your life, or you're bringing in the new at this point because you've already cleared out the old. And this can also mean feeling more comfortable in your physical self. So connecting with your body, looking in the mirror and saying, wow, I know this person, I love this person, and I'm proud of the accomplishments that I've made to get from there to here. Now, the oracle card that comes along this week is Intuition. Now, this is one of the majors in this deck. This is the second major, and it's advising you to trust yourself. Easier said than done, I know, especially when you've got all these feelings and all this energy going around you all the time and this way and that. But as all of this good stuff is coming towards you, you're being faced with a lot of new opportunities. And not every one of these opportunities is going to be something that ends up bearing fruit for you. So over the next week, if you're being faced with different decisions, especially, again, things that are going to impact your physical environment, your physical self, make sure that you are listening to that intuitive voice that says, yes, this is good, or no, this is a red flag. And trust that part of yourself to guide you towards this Stone 10 energy that gets you exactly what you want. Taurus, your tarot card for the week of June 28th to July 4th, 2020 is Grail 3. So this is a really joyful, celebratory card. This is about getting some of the things that you want, maybe not all of the things that you want, but getting enough of the things that you want to feel like you are moving in the right direction. and having the opportunity to share those feelings of joy and celebration and happiness and goodness and satisfaction with the people in your life who you really care about and who really want to share this joy with you. Not everybody in your life sees the accomplishments that you have made right now, but these people do. This is more than just one person. This is, a handful of people in your life who really want to be there, who want to support you, who see the growth and the changes that have happened between the person that you used to be and the person that you are now. And if you open yourself up to them and say, hey, can I share this with you? Can you be a part of this with me right now? These people are definitely going to be there for you. And they definitely want to hear all about it and gush and share and just enjoy your life with you. Now, the oracle card that comes along with this is authority. Now, this is one of the major cards in this deck. This is the fourth major. And it is a kind of emotionless card, not necessarily totally emotionless or numb, but very grounded in logic and reason and the real world, whatever that means. But in this sense, for you, Taurus, it is telling you or advising you over the next week to temper or balance some of that celebratory joy, some of those sparkling bubbles. Bring it down every now and then to make sure that you are still paying attention to what needs to get done. This authority card is really about responsibility and taking authority, taking accountability, taking control of your own self and how you navigate throughout your life. So while you are celebrating and bouncing up and down and being so full of glee and joy and pride, being proud of yourself for what you have achieved, it doesn't mean that you should just let go of the work that still needs to be done. So this authority card comes up to remind you to still pay attention, have the fun, but remember that the work still needs to happen. Gemini, your tarot card for the week of June 28th to July 4th, 2020, is the Washer at the Ford. So you may be brought to a place of letting go this week, Gemini. I don't want to say that you're going to be forced to let go of anything. That's not what this is about. There is a willingness to let something stay in your past rather than carrying it forward into your future. There is a feeling of sacrifice that comes with this, and of grief or mourning. This isn't just letting go. This is a bit of a loss. You are laying something to rest, or in essence, letting something die. This is probably a part of yourself or a connection to somebody else that you have been holding on to that isn't really connected anymore. This is something that has been stagnant or unbeneficial or toxic to you for quite a while now, and it has actively been holding you back from crossing the river and moving yourself forward. So by allowing yourself to let go, to release, to lay it to rest, you're potentially opening up a new door for yourself in that sense of forward motion. Now, the oracle card that comes along this week, Gemini, is the First of Energy, and the phrase on the card is passion ignited. So the advice that comes along with this card is to pay attention to even just the littlest spark. Look for the things that make your heart and soul sing, that set you on fire, that just make you want to keep moving forward, regardless of where that comes from or the doubts that might come up in your head. If this is something creative and you're telling yourself, no, I can't, take that word out of your vocabulary and just fan those flames. turn it into something that will light up this darkness that might be coming when you feel like you are in this pit of grief or not knowing what to do now that you have let go of this old part of yourself. Let this little bit of light, of fire, show you the person that you are starting to become. At the end of my readings, I like to pull a card from my favorite manifestation deck, the Super Attractor deck. So I've just pulled one for everybody here to sort of give us an idea of what we need in our lives over the coming week. So the card that I've drawn says, "My true safety lies in my capacity to align with the love of the universe." My true safety lies in my capacity to align with the love of the universe. So let me know in the comments what that means to you. To me, it's a reminder that we only really feel totally secure when we open ourselves up to trust that universe has our best interests at heart. But let me know what it says to you. Thank you so much for joining me for this look at the week ahead. I hope that these readings have been resonant so that they can provide basically just a helpful and relevant compass to keep navigating throughout the energy of the week. Make sure that you subscribe so that you can stay connected for more of these weekly and monthly forecast readings like this one. Like the video if it resonated with you. Comment what stood out and what really sang to your soul. You can follow me on Facebook at Hedgewitch Hearthcraft. I post daily, a card of the day, just to get a sense of what's best for us every day as we move forward. And that's also the best way to contact me if you're ever interested in booking a reading of your own. Thank you so much for joining me, and blessed be.